You want to build willpower. You better be ready to suffer. This isn't about tricks or hacks. It's not about apps, dopamine detoxes, or some motivational quote. This is about getting face to face with the weakest parts of yourself and then breaking them down piece by piece. Willpower isn't something you're born with. It's something you earn through pain, through discipline, and through consistent action when no one's watching. Most people never build real willpower because they avoid discomfort like the plague. They want the reward, but not the war. They want the body, but not the sweat. They want respect, but not the grind. You want to build willpower. Start doing the things that make your heart race. Do the things that scare the hell out of you. Not once, every single day. You uncover who you are when the excuses are gone, when the alarm rings at 4 a.m. and your body begs for more sleep. You get up, says, take a break, and your mind says, Cake Movenji, that's who you are. Willpower is built in the trenches, not in comfort zones. Every mile run when your legs are screaming, every cold shower taken when it's the last thing you want to do, every rep when your muscles are on fire, that's where your real self is uncovered. This version of you that's soft, that's addicted to comfort, that's afraid of pain. That's not you. That's the weakness that's been nurtured by a society that tells you it's okay to quit. But there's another version, a savage, a warrior, and you only meet him in the dark places when you're alone, broken, and you choose to keep going anyway. So no, it's not going to be easy. And that's the point. If building willpower were easy, everybody would be unstoppable, but they're not because they quit when it hurts. You won't. You'll keep pushing. You'll do the work because deep down, you're not trying to impress the world. You're trying to prove to yourself that you're not average. You're a monster in the making. Uncover the beast. Burn the excuses. Now, while Pioras aren't in, willpower isn't something you're born with. It's something you're forced to build. People want to believe that some are just naturally more disciplined, more focused, more mentally strong. That belief is an escape road. It's an excuse. The truth, nobody starts out with iron will. We're all born soft. We're all born scared. The only difference between the people who quit and the ones who dominate is this one group chose to fight, chose to struggle, chose to earn their willpower through pain, repetition, and failure. They built it brick by brick. You don't stumble upon willpower. You forge it in the furnace of discomfort. Every single time you wake up early when you don't want to, every time you say no to the easy path, every time you keep going when your body begs you to quit, that's you earning your willpower. And here's the truth. The more you suffer on purpose, the more mental muscle you build. You learn to ignore that voice that says, give up because you've beaten it before. You've trained your mind to obey you, not the other way around. That's what separates the strong from the average. The strong don't wait for willpower. They manufacture it daily. Too many people wait until they feel ready to act. That's weakness. You don't need to feel ready. You need to act regardless. That action repeated 100 times starts to mold your brain. Suddenly, your mind doesn't default to comfort anymore. It craves challenge. That's the result of earned willpower. You didn't wake up one day with mental toughness. You were forged in the grind, built through struggle. And anyone who tells you it's a gift is lying to you. They're afraid of the work it takes to become what they're not. But you step into the fire and build. There's a reason why most people remain mediocre. They don't respect the process of earning willpower. They think one hard workout or one disciplined day changes everything. It doesn't. Willpower is the product of years of pushing past what feels good. It's the echo of thousands of decisions you didn't want to make, but made anyway. And that builds trust with yourself. You start to believe in your own strength, not because someone told you, but because you've proven it to yourself over and over again. That kind of belief is unshakable. It's armor. It's power. Look around. Weak minds are everywhere, and they're comfortable that way. You know why? Because earning willpower requires you to face your demons. Every day, it requires you to get uncomfortable on purpose. Nobody wants that smoke. But you're different. You understand that pain is the cost of greatness, and that greatness lies on the other side of consistent suffering. Your willpower doesn't come from wishing. It comes from doing, from waking up when you don't want to, from going further than you think you can, from failing and then doing it again. So don't ever buy the lie that someone else has more willpower than you because they're built that way. They weren't. They bled for it. They cried for it. They broke and rebuilt themselves 1,000 times to become what they are. You want willpower, then bleed for it. Because you don't get it by watching or reading. You get it by earning it one brutal decision at a time. Discomfort, T-A-T-R-A-N-A, grindy farewell power. If you're serious about building willpower, then get one thing straight. Comfort is your enemy. Discomfort is the arena where your mind either hardens or breaks. Every time you choose the harder path, every time you step into something that makes your skin crawl or your body scream, you're laying down another layer of mental steel. Discomfort isn't just a byproduct of growth. It is the tool that forges it. The problem is we've been trained to avoid it. Everything in this world is engineered to make life easier. But willpower doesn't grow in ease. It grows in the fight against it. You don't build strength sitting on the couch. You build it when your body is exhausted and you push for one more rep. You build it when your legs are shaking, but you keep running. That moment when everything in you says, stop, and you keep moving anyway, that's discomfort working in your favor. That's you training your mind to stop listening to the whining, the excuses, the fear. The real you is buried under layers of comfort. And if you want to uncover that beast inside, you've got to suffer with intent. You've got to volunteer for the pain. Discomfort exposes your limits, and that's why most people avoid it. Because facing those limits hurts. It humbles you. But that's the point. Willpower isn't about feeling powerful. It's about becoming powerful through weakness, through discipline, through repeated exposure to things that make you want to run the other way. That's where the breakthroughs happen. That's where you find the edge and then push past it. You can't fake that. You either step into discomfort or you stay exactly where you are, soft, stagnant, and full of potential you'll never use. You want stronger willpower. Do things that suck every single day. Wake up earlier than you want. Train harder than you think is possible. Eat clean when your cravings scream for trash. Take cold showers. Go on long runs with no music. Starve the part of you that always wants ease. Feed the part of you that's craving growth. These aren't random acts. They are deliberate sacrifices. Every time you choose pain over pleasure, you're putting your mind through resistance training. And just like muscle, your willpower grows under that pressure. The people with the most willpower, they aren't the most gifted. They're the ones who decided that comfort was the trap. They embraced the grind. They went toward the struggle instead of away from it. You think they like the suffering. No, they learned to respect it because that suffering is the furnace that forged their mental armor. Every rep under heavy weight, every freezing cold morning run, every sleepless night grinding when others were resting, it all builds a level of toughness that can't be broken. Not by fear. 2, not by failure. So if you're avoiding discomfort, don't ask why your willpower is weak. That's your answer. Weak minds choose comfort. Strong minds chase challenge. And if you're ready to become the kind of person who finishes what they start, who doesn't break when it hurts, then you better start building your relationship with discomfort right now. Make it your ally. Make it your proving ground. Because nothing grows where it's easy. But everything you've ever wanted, every ounce of grit, every drop of discipline, is waiting on the other side of pain. Consistency, wildest mental fortitude. You don't become unstoppable by going hard once a week. You become unstoppable by showing up every damn day, whether you feel like it or not. That's what builds your willpower. Consistency. Not hype, not adrenaline, not some once in a, motivational boost. The grind doesn't care if you're tired. Life doesn't wait for your emotions to catch up. If you want a mind forged in steel, then you better commit to doing the work repeatedly, especially on the days when you feel the weakest. That's where the transformation happens, in the replication of discipline. Consistency is the silent killer of weakness. It's boring. It's unglamorous, but it's deadly effective. Most people start something and they're fired up, ready to go. But that fire fades. It always does. That's when the weak fold. But if you've got consistency in your blood, you keep showing up day after day. No matter what, you do the run. You hit the gym. You eat clean. You study. You push forward, not because it's exciting, but because it's necessary. That's what separates warriors from wannabes. Excitement is a feeling. Consistency is a choice. Every rep you complete when your body says, quit, becomes a brick in the foundation of your mental fortress. You're not just training your muscles, you're training your mind to follow through. Every early morning, every cold shower, Every disciplined choice stacks another layer of mental resilience. And over time, that structure becomes so solid that nothing can shake it. That's what real willpower looks like. Not loud, not dramatic, just relentlessly consistent. The type of mindset that what it has to do every single day without needing applause or permission. The world is full of people who start strong and finish nowhere. They fall off because they're addicted to intensity, not consistency. They want results fast. And when that doesn't happen, they collapse. But you understand the grind is a marathon, not a sprint. It's slow, it's grueling, it's unforgiving, but it's also where legends are built. You don't need to be the fastest, the strongest, or the smartest. You just need to be the one who never stops, the one who refuses to miss a day, the one who shows up when no one else will. There's power in repetition. The more you repeat the hard things, the more your brain rewires itself to crave discomfort, to expect discipline to operate under pressure. That's why consistency is more than a habit. It's an identity. You become what you do repeatedly. So if you train yourself to never miss, you become the type of person who always delivers, no matter how tired, no matter how hurt. 2, that's real mental fortitude. That's how you develop the kind of willpower that doesn't just survive, it dominates. And when life hits you, and it will, you won't fold like the rest. You'll respond like someone who's trained for war. Because you've built your mind through daily battles. You've suffered on purpose. You've executed when it was inconvenient, uncomfortable, and unfair. You've earned the right to stand tall because you've shown up without fail. That's what consistency gives you, a backbone made of fire, a will that doesn't crack under pressure. So keep showing up, keep stacking the days. Because the real prize isn't the result, it's the warrior you become in the process. DSEPC line, OVAR motivation, EVART, motivation is a liar. It shows up when it wants, disappears when you need it most, and fools you into thinking it's the answer. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't rely on the weather, your mood, or whether or not you slept well. Discipline is loyal. Discipline shows up every single time, especially when motivation runs away. If you're relying on motivation to build willpower, you're setting yourself up for failure. Real growth starts when you stop waiting to feel like doing the work and do it anyway. You have to understand that motivation is built for amateurs. It's built for people who need external hype to move. But the ones who lead, the ones who break limits, they live by discipline. They understand that some days you're going to feel empty. So your mind will scream, not today. And that's exactly when discipline takes over. It's the override switch. The internal command that says, I do this because it must be done. I don't negotiate with weakness. That's how willpower is built, by acting in direct defiance of your comfort. You don't train every day because you're excited. You train because you promised yourself you would. You don't show up because it's easy. You show up because that's who you are now. A disciplined mind doesn't need a reason to grind. It doesn't ask, do I feel like it? It says, let's go. That shift in mentality is where transformation begins. You stop chasing short-term fire and start constructing a long-term identity. Every disciplined act could vote for the person you're becoming. That's what separates the real from the fake. Let's be real. Motivation is soft. It crumbles under pressure. The first time things get hard, the motivated ones start making excuses. But discipline shows up in the cold, the rain, the exhaustion, the pain. Discipline laces up your boots, gets in the dirt, and does the work with no audience, no reward, and no applause. And over time, that consistent execution under pressure turns into an unbreakable mindset. That's where the real power is. Not in how hyped you feel, but in how hard you hit back when life punches you in the face. The difference between quitting and continuing is never motivation. It's always discipline. And the only way to grow discipline is to make hard choices consistently without needing to feel good about them. That's it. You put your shoes on and go run. You pick up the weights and get to work. You make the call you don't want to make. You say no to the things that weaken you and yes to the things that harden you. That daily friction sharpens your edge. And before long, discipline becomes who you are, not something you do. So kill the idea that you need to feel ready. That day might never come. But discipline doesn't wait. Discipline doesn't care about the mood, the moment, or the mess. It only knows one thing: get it done. That mindset will take you farther than any motivational video or quote ever could. Because when everything else is gone, your energy, your confidence, your optimism, discipline will be the last thing standing, the final line of defense. The power source that keeps you moving forward when nothing else can. Hourinthe dark timeless. You don't discover who you are when everything's going your way. You find out who you really are when everything is falling apart. When the plan breaks, when the lights go out, when your back's against the wall and no one's coming to help. That's when the truth comes out. That's when all the fake confidence, all the surface level strength, all the talk gets burned away. And what's left? That's the real you. And the scary part is most people never meet that version of themselves because they run from those dark times. They numb it, escape it, avoid it. But the ones who walk into the fire, they come out with scars and clarity. Pain has a way of stripping the mask off. It exposes everything, your fears, your insecurities, your excuses. But it also reveals your grit, your resilience, and your hidden potential. You don't find that in the good days. You find that when your body is shot, your mind is drained, and you've got nothing left. But you keep moving forward anyway. That moment right there, when you push without fuel, when you fight without strength, that's the moment you meet the raw, unfiltered version of you. That's the version who doesn't care about likes or approval. That's the version who fights because it's survival. Most people fear the dark times. They see them as punishments. But if you've got the right mindset, the dark times become your training ground, your forge, the place where you strip away the fluff and find out what you're made of. If you've never been broken, then you don't know how strong you really are. And you won't know until you're in that pit, completely alone and forced to dig your own way out. That's where willpower is born, not in the comfort of a routine, but in the chaos of crisis. The dark will either bury you or build you. The difference is in your decision. Or will you rise? Will you hide or will you fight? That choice reveals everything. No one's watching. It's just you and the pain and the question, are you willing to keep going? If the answer is yes, then you just discovered who you are. Not the version you pretend to be when life's easy. The real one forged in sweat, doubt, and raw determination. You know why people who've suffered deeply often move different? It's because they've been to war with themselves. They've walked through hell and learned to stand tall anyway. They don't need to scream to prove anything. Their silence is earned. Their focus is built. Their calm is unshakable. Because when you've seen the worst in yourself and chose to rise anyway, you're no longer afraid of the dark. You become it. You've become the threat, not the victim. The force, not the follower. You've met your lowest point and refused to stay there. And that kind of power doesn't fade. So if life has thrown you into chaos, good, embrace it. Use it. That darkness you're walking through right now is not the end. It's your beginning. It's the place where all the weak parts of you get destroyed and all the strong parts get activated. You'll find your truth there if you're brave enough to keep going. The world might not understand it. They might never see the work you're doing in silence. But trust this. When you come out the other side, you won't need validation. You'll know exactly who you are. Because you didn't read it in a book. You didn't hear it in a speech. You lived it in the dark. Why you must he des tirao to asoverson off yoyarsielaf? There's a version of you that's addicted to comfort. That hits snooze when the alarm rings. That skips the gym. That breaks under pressure and gives into temptation. That version is soft and it's killing your potential. You'll never reach greatness until you look that weak, lazy, comfortable version of yourself in the eye and decide to destroy it. Willpower isn't built by protecting that softness. It's built by crushing it, by starving it of everything it craves and feeding the part of you that's hungry for strength, discipline, and suffering. You've got two identities inside you. One is built by pain, forged in discipline, and shaped through sacrifice. The other is a coward. That soft version looks for the easy way out. It wants warmth, safety, validation, and pleasure. It whispers lies like, you've done enough, or take it easy today. You want to build real willpower. Start by declaring war on that voice. You don't compromise with weakness. You don't reason with it. You eliminate it through action, through suffering, through repetition. Every time you choose hard over easy, you're killing that soft version a little more. If comfort has made you slower, weaker, distracted, you weren't born to be soft. You were born to be dangerous, sharp, focused, relentless. But that doesn't happen by accident. You have to break your old patterns. If your habits are built around pleasure and ease, then you're building a life of mediocrity. And mediocrity is the disease of the soft. If you want to rise above average, then your actions need to be savage. Your routine needs to be non-negotiable. Every moment of comfort must be replaced with effort, pressure, resistance. You want to become unbreakable, then your soft self must die daily. That means doing things you hate. That means showing up when your body is screaming to stop. That means choosing the grind when no one's watching. That means isolating yourself if the people around you are feeding your weakness. Softness isn't just about laziness. It's about allowing your environment, your emotions, and your past to control you. Destroying it means becoming the architect of your own mind, building a new identity from pain, not pity, from grit, not comfort. This is the truth. No one wants to hear your goals. Don't care about your feelings. Your potential doesn't respond to excuses. And the world isn't going to slow down for your softness. Either you step up and do the work, or you stay soft and fade into the background with the rest of the world. The strongest people you know, they weren't always that way. They used to be soft too, until they made a choice. They embraced the suck. They cut ties with the comfortable version of themselves, and they stepped into the identity of someone who refuses to lose. So if you're tired of being stuck, of being average, of letting yourself down, good. That means the soft version of you is dying. Keep pushing. Keep starving that weak self. Keep stacking pain until the only version of you that's left is the one that doesn't fold, doesn't run, and doesn't break. That's where your willpower is hiding. It's buried beneath the excuses, the bad habits, and the lies. But once you kill the softness, once you crush it under the weight of consistent suffering, you'll uncover who you were meant to be. And that version is unstoppable.